MC Benny.
Come on, East Africa.
Ha!
It's a party.
Tell them. MC Benny.
Come on, East Africa.
Ha!
It's a party.
Tell them.
Okay, good morning, Africa. Welcome back to yet another week of August. And this week is the youthful week because many things are happening. And among them, actually, the main event this week is the International Youth Day. But before we talk about the International Youth Day, I will start by introducing myself. My name is Sebastian Segawa Ivan Sebastian. I am the East African Community Youth Ambassador for Uganda. I'm also the regional coordinator of the East African Community Youth Ambassadors platform. And I also am part of the people that constitute the ULEAD ESC App Events Bureau. And today I bring you, like I do every other week, the African Youth Pulse Check-in. And for this check-in, you know the drill, we always introduce ourselves, whether you are with me in studio or you are out there following us on our social media platforms. You drop a comment, you tell me where you are, your name, where you're tuned in from, and then you tell me what is happening on your side of life. And for me today, I am tuning in Kampala. Kampala is a fine morning. Yesterday evening, it really rained very, very heavily. But this morning it is quite sunny. The weather is all right, like you would expect the Pearl of Africa to be. I see you, Alaba, Iduma. You say, wow, 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 nice one. Tell us where you're tuning in from, Alaba, and tell us what is happening there. For Kampala, a lot of things have been happening, but the hype is around the International Youth Day. The National Youth Council in Uganda has announced that this is going to be called the National Youth Week. And as a build up to the International Youth Day in the National Youth Week in Uganda, a lot of activities have been arranged. There are a lot of roundtable discussions. There are a lot of exhibitions by young people. And you know that this year's theme of the International Youth Day is around food security and systems. Therefore, very many young people that mostly those that are largely interested in the agriculture sector, have gotten an opportunity to share their ideas, share their experiences, and also go ahead to recommend things that they would want to be done. But we shall join the International Youth Day conversation later on. Right now, I just want you guys out there to check in with me. Tell me how you are, where are you tuning in from? And then I see you, Nontebeko Mkanda. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And you're saying you are tuning in all the way from South Africa, you are most welcome. Tell us, how is South Africa? What is the situation down south? And we would love to know. And all of you out there, do well to share with me what is happening where you are and what is the situation there. But today, before we go ahead, I want to let you know that I have a few guests. I will let them introduce themselves in a bit. My guests, as soon as you join me in studio, I will appreciate if you turn on your video so that our esteemed viewers can be able to see you. And for everyone in the on the live stream, do let me know if you want to join me here in studio, and I'll be giving an opportunity. I'll be sharing a link and admitting a few people who will ably join me here in studio. But for now, okay, before I move on, I also want to recognize Chisui Dennis. Dennis says he's tuning in from Kampala and is experiencing a terrible traffic jam, very typical of all our cities across the continent, and the joy of people being opened from lockdown by the president partially. Oh yes, there is that Uganda was undergoing a 42-day lockdown that ended, I think, a week ago, and people are now let out to do some of the things, of course, with observance of the SOPs, but all is well. And for now, let me first have my guests introduce themselves, tell us where they are tuning in from before we proceed with our topics of the day. Anita, I think I'll start with you while I encourage Kali to turn on his video. Tommy.
Hi, Ivan, and hello, Africa. My name is Anita Komjisha, and I am tuning in from Bushenyi.
Well, Anita, the last time you were with us here, you were praying for the lifting of the lockdown, threatening to take to the streets if otherwise was made. We would love to know, what is the situation in Bushenyi now that the lockdown has been partially lifted?
Things got back to normal pretty quickly. People are back to work. There's obviously more traffic on the road. I think the biggest change is in public transport, because that had like completely stopped, and so we have more travel. It's chilly, but really, I want to say it's a small town and there's not much going on, but there's always something going on everywhere.
Okay, thank you, Komi, for checking in on us. Stay with us. We have a couple of things to discuss. But for now, we shall have Khalid. Khalid, are you there? Khalid? Well, while Khalid is still attempting to connect, we also have Moses. Moses is from Cameroon and is happy to be part of the show. Moses, you are most welcome. We are also happy to acquaint with you. Today in studio, we are expecting a couple of colleagues, mostly from West Africa. They are yet to join us, and we are excited to hear about the situation that is happening there. But Moses, do let us know how South Africa is, is, and we are also waiting word from Non-Tobacco from South Africa. But for now, I wanted us to draw us, before we do anything, we all know that a lot is happening, and part of that is sport. And the power of sport has always been proven to be that cohesive power. Of course, there are situations that are not the best that we have enjoyed. Not the best that we have enjoyed in the sports world. Khalid, are you able to hear me now? Well, Khalid is tuning in from the Republic of Tanzania, but is having a couple of issues with connectivity, I think. But like I was saying, that the sports world is one that is unifying, but there are always those situations where adrenaline rises and people have lost a game or their champion has fallen short of the glory. And it's not usually a very happy moment, but for the greater good, sport has always been the unifying factor for many things, even for people who are probably sworn enemies, so to say. And on the topic of sports, I felt that today we need to recognize the performance of Africa as a continent so far at the Olympics that are happening in Tokyo, Japan. And as you can see right now, I just wanted to share with us the African countries that are so far performing and how they are performing. In the lead on the continent is Kenya, and Kenya is ranking 19th across the whole world. Kenya is having 4 gold medals, 4 silver medals, and 2 bronze medals, giving them a total of 10 medals in the Olympics. The second is the Republic of Uganda, Pearl of Africa, and home to myself, which is second in Africa but 35th in the world. Uganda has 2 gold medals, 1 silver medal, 1 bronze medal, and a total of 4 medals. Then South Africa. South Africa is ranking 51 in the world and third on the continent. South Africa has 1 gold medal, 2 silver medals, and no bronze medal, giving them a total of 3 medals. Egypt is number 4 in Africa, number 53 in the world. Egypt has 1 gold medal, 1 silver medal, and 4 bronze medals, totaling to 6 medals. Ethiopia is taking up number 5 on the continent and 55 in the world. Ethiopia has 1 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze, 2 bronze, which gives them a total of 4. Tunisia comes in as number 6 in Africa and number 57 in the world. Tunisia has 1 gold medal, 1 silver medal, no bronze, giving them a total of 2 medals. Morocco is coming in as number 7 on the continent, 63rd in the world. Morocco has 1 gold medal, no silver, and no bronze, giving them 1 medal. Nigeria is number 8 on the continent and 74th in the world. Nigeria has no gold. It has 1 silver, 1 bronze, giving them 2 medals. And then Namibia is number 9 in Africa and 77 in the world. Namibia has 0 gold. It has 1 silver and no bronze, giving them 1 medal. We shall keep updating you on the progress of the African team's performance in the Olympics on our check-ins. And for those fanatics of sports, you will always weigh in on what your thoughts are. And speaking of sports fanatics, we have Kamala in the building. Kamala here is a celebrated athlete within the ranks of his social groupings. Kamala is an ardent athlete. At least I have been able to see him. He has procured gear and is very committed to always hitting the road very early in the morning to jog. And I will introduce himself, tell us where he's tuning in from, and just share a few ideas of what he thinks of Africa's performance in the Olympics. Kamala.
Morning. My name is Kamala. I'm from Tanzania and right from Dar es Salaam. So we have been following. Actually, my country didn't score anything, and it's normal. But then I think Eliud Kipchoge was sometime raised in Tanzania, and we are happy of him to represent us in the. Yeah, we can't miss all. We must get something out of it. So Kenya, they did very well. Our neighbors and Uganda, congratulations, because money. It was so unacceptable, like expected, like Uganda would win these medals, but you did. They're amazing, and I think now Uganda will be taking a new step in investing um, in sports. But then for Tanzania, I think the last year we had number 4, and this time we had number 7 on the game that we participated. And one of our runners hit number 7 on 42 kilometers, but this wasn't that good because they were only 10. So yeah, but then what we are calling in is to for our countries, for example, to look on the best way they can invest, because nowadays taking people outside of the country to participate in the Olympic, it's not only about winning the medal, but only you are putting your country on the world map. Everyone is following. For example, now Uganda and Kenya, everyone knows what's happening. Oh, Kenya, oh, Uganda. I know some people they are following. So it's an opportunity for our countries to prepare and invest much on the sports, to take more young people outside of the country to participate in different games. And then after, if they won, the countries, they are known globally. That's one, but also it's part of economic and income generation. You see, we have a lot of young people here. We are struggling. We all find ourselves in leadership. We all find ourselves in entrepreneurship. We all find ourselves in the sectors that everyone runs to those sectors. But then, how are we opening the new sectors where we can put more young people? For example, people are generating billions of money through these games. Are we encouraging our young people to join again these games and accumulate more income?
I agree with you, Kamala. I think that as a continent, we need to also largely invest in talent and recognize that talent is one way that young people can make their ends meet. I mean, some of the most celebrated people in this world, people who have effected change at very many levels, are sportsmen, people who have raised to fame and to their influence through the art of showcasing their talent. And of course, talent, absent opportunity and absent the right facilities and resources to breed it, is far-fetched and very inconsequential. But now I just want to have probably Komi weigh in on the Olympics. I know that just like Kamala said that one athlete in Kenya was raised in Tanzania. So probably the food he might have eaten in Tanzania has an effect years later on his performance in the Olympics. Komi, what do you feel about Africa's performance in the Olympics? And of course, I know that as a patriot, you will be able to weigh in on your country as well. Hoping you've been following the Olympics.
Ivan, no shade. But of course, there's no getting away from an event like the Olympics. It's everywhere. It's on Instagram, it's on Twitter, it's on like every news channel that you'll turn on. But just quickly to comfort Kamala, because of the Eastern community, we are we are one nation, and so the rules of Uganda and Kenya apply to Tanzania as well. Yeah. But of course, just to retaliate what Kamala said and what you said, Ivan, it's very important that after the performance that we had across the continent, that we really into investing into our athletes and our talent, to make sure that we're actually they are benefiting as much as they can from their craft and from the sport, and as well as benefiting their nations, because there's been a conversation on Kenya's Eliud, on how the discussion on how he sponsors his collaboration with Nike have, probably enhanced his performance. Of course, he's a really talented man. He trains really hard, but there's also obviously conversation on his partnerships with Nike and how they have enhanced performance. And so with the performance of the athletes at these, it's very like how much they are by governments, the training facilities, it all plays such a big role. And really big thumbs up to all the participants, especially on the African continent, at these Olympics, especially post-pandemic and even within the pandemic, because most of them didn't get the training that they would have had, otherwise. For example, our own athletes, the court been closed for a while because it was turned into a pandemic facility. And so like they did really good. I am especially proud, of our Ugandan athletes, Cheptegei, greatest of all time. Okay, obviously there are conversations on whether he's the greatest of all time, but as far as celebrations go, the silverback kind of thing was really a highlight for me. And we have our Chemutai, yeah, we're going to be doing that for a while. East Africa, get ready for us. Like, you won't get enough of this. And to everyone that really showed up and did the most they could. And again, we have to like put our money where our mouths are, and like put in the money necessary, the policies necessary, invest in the schools, do real scouting in these schools, and make sport a real thing on the continent. Yeah.
All right. And Nontebeko from South Africa, amidst a lot of laughter, agrees with you in consoling Kamala that yes, a win to one is a win to the other. But sure. I know that, for example, very many social media platforms have been blowing up with the wins. And I also know that Eastern Africa has been taking lead and dominating at least the tracks when it comes to running. East Africa is where you're coming from. I'm really excited for South Africa when it comes to rugby, and West Africa when it comes to basketball. Fingers crossed. And for now, we shall move forward because our time is also fast moving. But before we do, Tobacco is giving us Non-Tobacco is giving us an update from South Africa. She says that things are looking up for us here in South Africa, especially after what we faced with the looting and taxi drivers fighting, just hoping for positive change in our economy. We join you in the hopeful mind, and we pray that situation gets better in South Africa. And now we are moving on. Our dear viewers, and Komi, Khalid, and Kamala in studio with me, you know that this week is the International Youth Day, and the hashtag is IYD21. Yes, Komi, I see the spirits. And the theme this year is transforming food systems, youth innovation for human and planetary health. And I don't know how you people out there are ready for the Youth Day. I just want to check on all of you. First, let's talk about the theme. I personally think that this theme is very timely because very many people are struck with a lot of challenges. I always keep thinking to myself that if we can afford to have technology that can take us into a space, how then do we explain people dying of hunger on Earth? It's unbelievable. If we have that technology and the resources that can do that, it is unbelievable that we still have people dying of things like food, lack of food, starvation, and I'm sorry, I got distracted. Khalid here is in studio with us, but he's having challenges joining us directly, and he shared a comment here. He says, I'm following despite connectivity challenges. I would like to congratulate Kenya and Uganda and other African countries which made it. Thank you, Khalid. And he says that to him, there are three things we need to do as African. The first is to make sure that our countries do invest in big sports and game. And then the second is avoid corruption. Khalid, we share with you in that very, very optimistic school of thought. And I know that it is upon us, the young generation, to be able to fight for some of these things because, it changed. We are no longer the leaders of tomorrow, but we are the leaders now. So for those of you out there in leadership positions, we urge you to always create the change that we keep advocating for, that we've been advocating for as young people for over a long time. But going back to the International Youth Day theme, I was still sharing that I think that it is important because the intention of the Youth Day is to always shine a spotlight on such challenges. And we should also recognize the efforts that have been made in such fields and transforming food systems. I know that a lot of work has gone into this, but also there have been a lot of challenges. And there are also very many young people that have had innovations that are aimed towards human and planetary health. And over the course of the week, we shall be sharing with you young people's achievements and innovations towards this cause all over the continent of Africa. But for now, before we lose Komi, Komi already gave us a disclaimer that where she comes from, the internet can come in one corner and never visit again for the rest of the day. But for now, Komi, talk to us. What do you make of the theme of the International Youth Day for 2021?
Can I please just issue another disclaimer so that I'm not chased out of the district? We have wonderful internet. Okay, that's not quite true, but we make do. But as far as the theme goes, I have to agree with you that it's really timely, especially with all the consequences of climate change that we are seeing today all over the world. We are seeing more wildfires than ever. The droughts are getting longer, and we still see ourselves and our countries and our governments lagging behind on the implementation of the strategies that give us tools that we would need to down the temperatures to the 1.5 degrees Celsius that we need to have the globe back to a stable temperature. And so being able to transform our food systems is a really important innovation that we have to look into and work really seriously towards. Because let me just give an example of the pandemic.
Komi, can you hear us? Komi? All right. Komi seems to have frozen shortly after she had. Okay, Komi is frozen. We shall get her back when she returns. But now we have Davis. Davis, you're most welcome to the African Youth Pulse check-in. Davis is joining us for the first time in studio. And Davis, if you could be gracious enough to turn on your video, we shall appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for welcoming me. It's my pleasure to join the studio. Thanks.
All right. Tell us, introduce yourself, what you do, and where you're tuning in from, and what is happening there.
Thank you so much. My name is Davis Damson. I work as operations manager for Community Initiative for Social Empowerment. In short, we call it CISE Malawi. So by the name, I'm joining from Malawi, the Southern Africa. Yeah, so it's a lot happening in Malawi. The SADC states having their conference here. I think we are taking chairmanship as a country. So we have a lot to share this morning. Thank you.
All right. We congratulate Malawi on taking leadership of SADC. Congratulations out there. And while you came in, we were still on a topic of the International Youth Day and how relevant it is during our times. But before I borrow your mind on it, Davis, Komi here was concluding before she dropped moments after she swore to us that internet connectivity in her district was not in question. Komi, please proceed.
I apologize. As going to conclude by saying, transforming our food systems is not something that can wait. We have to look into. We are no longer just talking about moving away from, like farming coals to mechanizing agriculture. We are talking about innovating and working in our laboratories to come up with plants that are drought resistant, fire resistant, even that can grow in conditions of salty water, because we are seeing the ocean levels rising. And like this kind of innovation doesn't come with just ignoring it and throwing just a couple bucks into the agriculture sector and funding research and even encouraging more youth and people that are taking on education to go into research into these areas. It's something we have to do actively, take a lead on, just like you said, we are the leaders today, the researchers today. So yeah, it's a really timely theme that all of us need to get on to be able to secure our future, because there are things that look like they are going to be a problem for only a certain part of the population, into the sections we've been divided to economically or whatever. But with something like this, it's not going to only affect a certain portion of the population. It is an issue that all of us have to tackle with every resource that we have at hand. Yeah.
Thank you, Komi. I want to come to you, Davis. We are discussing the International Youth Day that is due this Thursday, the 12th of August. And the theme this year is transforming food systems, youth innovation for human and planetary health. And I just want to borrow your mind. Do you find the theme relevant in our times right now? And that is shortly before I request you to also tell us how your organization is working with the young people in Malawi.
Okay, thank you so much. For me, I think the theme is very relevant, considering the fact that we continue growing in terms of the population. So if we are not very careful, we can end up in a situation whereby we'll have unsustainable food system. So I think it's a very important theme, considering the fact that a lot of young people are still skeptical to venture into agriculture. So I think as drivers of change, we need to find the ways how to convince young people to start investing in agriculture. Because, for example, in Malawi, most of farmers are aging, they are getting old. So if we are not very careful, we can come in a situation whereby we will not have people who be interested to invest in agriculture. So in a summary, to share with you what we are doing as an organization, we have a development agenda, which we are calling it National Youth Manifesto. So we have a number of aspirations, and one of it is agribusiness and the entrepreneurship. So we have chosen the topic agribusiness and the entrepreneurship to make sure that we convince young people to start investing in agriculture, because we believe that youth unemployment looms very large in the country, because both the public and private sector are unable to generate enough jobs to absorb young people that are graduating every year from secondary and tertiary education institution. So bearing in mind that we have that challenge, we have come up with the National Youth Manifesto to make sure that we generate interest from young people to start investing in agriculture. So in short, this is what I can share with the members to say. We have a National Youth Manifesto, which we have almost 14 aspirations, and one of it is agribusiness and entrepreneurship, to make sure that we will make food systems sustainable for the population. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that good work, Davis. I agree that growing up personally, we always felt that farming was for the elderly. I don't know why it felt like that. And the only time we took to the gardens was when we went to the village to visit the old people during our school holidays. And we did not take it as serious as it needs to be taken, because it is through agriculture that then the whole world is fed. And I agree with you that the situation that you've told us about Malawi, and that its agriculture population being aged, is not only unique to Malawi. I know that that story is shared across the continent in very many agro-based economies. And I think that it is important that we interest young people in knowing that there is very many ways of impacting this world, and one of them is ensuring that we don't starve. Because I mean, if we all decide to run for political office, then it becomes weird and strange that we expect to be leaders only. And I agree that encouraging diversity within ourselves as young people is very important. We shall be over the week getting young people that have invested a lot of their efforts, their knowledge, and their time into ensuring that there is some level of innovation towards agriculture and food systems. And we shall be hosting them here to share their testimonies. We are happy for you to suggest someone who has benefited from your organization to join us between tomorrow and Thursday and share with us what is happening, what they have done, and what they think needs to be done. We shall appreciate that. But for now, our time is well spent, and I think it is about time that we close our check-in. But Davis, before we close our check-in, we have a discipline that when we have, because every day we host different people, the discipline is that you check out by telling us, by bidding us farewell in your local language. So you tell us the language, and then you tell us goodbye in that language. The intention is for us to appreciate the diversity in the country, but also for us to learn something from, for example, now Malawi.
Okay, thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. We have a number of local languages spoken in the country, but the most popular one is called Chichewa. So in Chichewa, when we want to say bye-bye, we say it zikomo kwambiri. So that's bye-bye in our local vernacular language, zikomo kwambiri. So it's like bidding farewell to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At least now we know a language in Malawi and how to say goodbye in it. Thank you much for joining us. Thank you for everyone who joined me in studio, Davis, Khalid, Kamala, and Komi. And thank you for everyone who has been following us live. We wish you a happy International Youth Day and a Youth Week. I also encourage all of you use this Youth Week to either pledge to do something towards bettering our food systems, or you could also just contribute by reading something about food systems and youth innovation for humanity and planetary health. I keep saying on this show that I was told once by a very wise man that knowledge is never toxic. And I have taken that talk to heart. So I encourage all of you to also invest in reading about the International Youth Day. Tomorrow, when we come back, we shall bring you a segment on how the International Youth Day comes to be, and how it is relevant to people. Komi, it is you've entered when we're in the segment of saying goodbye, and you know the drill. You say goodbye to us in our local languages. Davis here has already told us goodbye in his local language in Malawi. We are waiting for you to close. Komi? Okay, Komi seems to have more connectivity issues. But thank you so much, Africa, for being part of us. And from us here at ULIT and the ESC app, the East African the East African Community Youth Ambassadors Platform Events Bureau, we say thank you for joining us always in the African Pulse check-in. Until the next day, cheers.
So you live. So you live. So you live. So I live.
MC Benny.
Come on, East Africa.
Ha.
It's a party.
Tell them.